الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Please repeat after me. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. نويت السنة there are many blessings of reciting Durood Pak upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Indeed, Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that whoever recites Durood Pak upon me once, Allah Azza wa Jal showers 10 mercies upon him. Now there are some people you see that wherever they go, Allah Ta'ala blesses them with success, they live very joyful lives and everything works out for them. And we often think, oh, very lucky guy. He isn't. Basically the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal is following him around because he keeps his tongue moist in the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal and sending durood wa salam upon his beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is not my topic of today, but if you want to be safe from calamities, अगर आप मुसीबतों से बचना चाहते हैं ना, तो एक नुस्खा याद कर लें कि जो रब के जिक्र में रहता है, he is protected. जो दुरूद पाक पढ़ता रहता है, he is protected. Everybody else is open to the trials and tribulations of the world. So if you want to secure yourself, मामूल बना लें कि रोजाना इतनी बार नाराय तकबीर, नाराय रिसालत, अल्लाह अहले सुन्नत, Salute ala Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu. One of the fundamental rules of gaining spirituality, gaining blessings, and getting the true barakat is to have maximum respect for your scholars. These are the people who spend their lives. Whenever we need them, they're always there. Whether it's a wedding, whether it's a funeral, whether it's a khatam, whether it's teaching our children. They are the backbone of our society. And if you look at the historical Islamic societies, if you study a little bit of history, they will tell you that those great Islamic societies that were successful, they were successful on the back of their great scholars. And they gave maximum respect to their scholars. And the one that does that, the nation that does that, is always successful. And those you'll have seen through history, one of the greatest mistakes that those nations have done is they failed to respect their books and their scholars, and that's why they fell into grave difficulties. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us all the ability to have maximum respect for our scholars. Salute ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to start with the Hadith Mubarakah, and then I wanted to recite to you some translation. And I wanted our, mashallah, blessed and new Hafiz-e-Quran, Hafiz Ali, to recite Surah Rahman Shif. I was going to recite to you some translation. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, by the blessings of the dust of the Nalain Pak of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. At the moment I'm working on an English translation of the glorious Quran, just recording it. I'm not a scholar, so I'm not writing it. It's the Dawat Islami Madni Markaz, and we're recording the entire English translation for publication. So I'm going to give you a taste of that, but there's another reason for that. I'm not just doing it so that you can see that I can read the translation. You know I can. It's to encourage everybody. Let me start with this Hadith Mubarakah. I'm not going to say a lot of things today, just 2 or 3 points, but I want you to concentrate. Hazrat Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, this Hadith Mubarakah is in Tirmizi Sharif, volume 4, page 414. Now, Hazrat Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu narrated that the beloved and blessed Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, soon fitna will arise, conflicts will arise. I humbly asked, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what will be the way to remain safe from these trials and tribulations of the time? And we're living in that era. The beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam replied, the book of Allah, which contains the news of your future and past generations, and the decisions of your mutual dealings. Quran is decision making, it is not a joke. The cruel person leaves it, Allah Azza wa Jal will destroy him. And the one who seeks guidance apart from it, Allah Azza wa Jal will misguide him. It is the strong rope of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it is His wise remembrance. It is the straight path. The Quran is a book by virtue of which blessings, desires do not get spoiled. Other languages together can not make it doubtful, from which Islamic scholars are not negligent, which do not get hold if recited again, and which does not get old if recited again and again, whose wonders do not come to an end. The Quran is the book that when the jinns heard it, they could not help saying that we have heard the strange Quran which guides towards goodness. So we have placed our faith in it. The one who accepts the Quran is truthful. The one who acts upon it will get reward. The one who makes decisions in accordance with it will be the one who does justice. And the one who calls towards it. So definitely, he is called towards the straight path. A long hadith Mubarakah, Pyare Islamiyah, there is so much in there. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us the keys to the treasures of the world and the hereafter. The greatest miracle of Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the glorious Quran. Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that this is your future. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says, the house in which the Quran is recited, it is a blessing for the dwellers. It is goodness and favor in abundance. Angels approach that house. The shaitan flee from that place where the Quran is recited. But what if you have a house where the Quran is not recited? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the barakats of this place are reduced, angels go away, and the shayateen enter into it. Now I want you to pause there for a second, and I want you to think. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hadith al-Mubarakah, the house in which the Quran is read, goodness, favor, abundance, angels. And then the house in which there's no Quran, you've got reduced in barakat, you've got problems, you've got shayateen. Now I want you to reflect on this. Look at your own house. First determine this, कि मेरे घर में Quran कितना पढ़ा जाता है? Is it once a month, once a year, during Ramzan? Or is it every day? And then look at your problems. Are my children going off the wrong way? Is my wife always fighting? Am I always fighting? What's the mahal? Is it a battlefield in my home? Because you will find that the two will go together. जिस घर में कुरान नहीं है ना, उस घर में लड़ाइयाँ ही हैं, बेसुकूनी है, बेबरकती है. In the house that has recitation of the Quran, सुबह भी कोई कुरान पढ़ रहा है, दोपहर में भी पढ़ रहा है, रात को भी पढ़ रहा है, नमाजें पढ़ रहे हैं, अल्लाह को याद कर रहे हैं, दुरूद पाक पढ़ रहे हैं. Those are the houses that Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us, full of barakat and blessings. Now, who is the decision maker here? कोई बाहर से आके हमें बताएगा कि हमने कुरान पढ़ना है? वो जमाने में मुअज्जज से मुसलमान होकर हम ख्वार हुए तारिक कुरान होकर. You know, those past elders, generation after generation, they reached great heights because they loved the Quran. And today, what is our position? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. लेकिन अगर हाथ उठाए वो कहे ना तो एक तादाद होगी जिन्होंने रमजान के बाद कुरान को देखा भी नहीं. And then they claim, हज़रत दावा करते हैं कि हमें अल्लाह और रसूल से प्यार है, लेकिन उसका मियार क्या है? What's the standard? मुजमा उल कबीर में हदीस मुबारक है. Listen to this. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu said, whoever likes to know whether he has love for Allah and his Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, हम दावा करते हैं ना कि अल्लाह रसूल से प्यार है. This is Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. Whoever has this thing in his mind that I love Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the test for him, he should determine how much he loves the glorious Quran. देखिए कि कुरान से कितनी मोहब्बत करता है. If he reads the Quran every day, रोज सीने से लगाता है, उसका तर्जुमा पढ़ता है, looks at the tafsir, tries to act upon the teachings of the Quran, then he loves Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. लेकिन अगर the Quran was wrapped up in a gilaf and remained on the top almari ऊंची जगह for 11 months of the year, and I'm sorry to say that according to this standard set by Hazrat Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, you do not love Allah and his Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm not saying that. You can't blame me. This is a beautiful companion of the best of creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you understand me, this Quran was your life. This Quran was your guide. This Quran was everything. Like in today, if you look at your phones, I'm going to finish very quickly. I've already overstepped my time. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and all that. दिन के 1-2 घंटे हमारे ले जाते. A couple of hours. Browsing the net, another hour at least. 3 hours a day. 3 sevens are 21. 21 hours a week. Then, TV. कम से कम average person 1-2 घंटे रोज TV देखता है. Say it's 1 hour, another 7, 28 hours. That's the minimum. Yeah? That's the minimum. 28 hours we spend wasting time. You ask the same person, have you read the translation of the glorious Quran? Which is like talking to Allah Azza wa Jal, and he says, I don't have time. 5 minutes सुबह हमारे पास नहीं है हम कुरान पढ़े, लेकिन 28 घंटे हम आराम से ज़ाया कर देते हैं. When you tell them there's an English translation, and this is why we're selling these as well. Kanzul Iman, Allah Hazrat's translation has been translated into English. Amazing translation. I'm going to give you a taste of it. I know I've overrun my time, but my maqsad was to try and see if there's at least ek banda to Quran padh le yaar. This translation, you read, you change your life. और मैं आपको शान की बात बताऊं, यकीन करें कि मैं कल परसों इस्लामी भाई से बात कर रहा था. We've got a new Muslim brother, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali को 1-2 हफ्ते पहले मैंने ये कुरान लेके दिया Cannon Street से. One night, मैं आपको मैसेज भी दिखा सकता हूँ. He texts me and he says that, you know, this ayat of the Quran, and he takes a picture of it in the middle of the night and he sends it to me, and he says, this ayat of the Quran has changed my life. यार 3 हफ्ते हुए उसे मुसलमान हुए हुए. And he texts me in the middle of the night and he says, this ayah Mubarak has changed my life. यार रोने को दिल करता है. हमारी जिंदगी बीत गई. We couldn't even read the glorious Quran. And this new Muslim is sending me messages. And Zaira is reading in the middle of the night. He's sending me messages. You know, I'll just... Muhammad Ali. I'll share the ayah Mubarak as well. Allahu Akbar. If I can load it. Here it is. He sends me this message. And the ayah Mubarak is amazing as well. Verse number 103, Surah Al Imran. And hold tight onto the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal, all together, and do not be divided into various sects amongst yourself, and remember Allah's favors upon you. When there is enmity between you, He brought your hearts together in love. So due to His grace, you become brothers with one another, and you were on the edge of the ditch of hell, so He rescued you from it. This is how Allah explains His signs to you, that perhaps you may attain guidance. Yaar, ye raat ko pad raha hai, and he sends me this message. This ayah mubarakah of the glorious Quran has changed my life. Where are we, Pyare Islam? When did we pick up this book of Allah? When did we open it and think, let's read something from it, let's understand it? We took it for granted. इसीलिए तो प्यारे इस्लामी, we are way away from peace and tranquility. हमारी जिंदगी में हर चीज़ है यार, पैसा है, दौलत है, मकान है, गाड़ियाँ हैं, लेकिन सुकून नहीं है, because the sukoon was contained in this book. If you've taken this book with both hands, और सिर्फ 10-12 मिनट यार, हम ये नहीं कहते कि every one of you become scholars of the deen. All we're saying is, read 12 minutes of the glorious Quran every day and change your life. I wanted to read some translation, but I've already overstepped my time. I'll give you a taste. I was going to get our Betatar to do Surah Rahman Sharif. I translate, but because time is short, I'm just going to give you a flavor. Amazing translation. Our beloved Nat Khan, mashallah, Ahmed is here. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless him and give him barakat. Allah's name to commence with. The most gracious, the most merciful. The most gracious. He has taught the Quran to His beloved. He has created the soul of mankind, the beloved Habib. He has taught him the speech of whatever has happened and will happen. The sun and the moon are programmed, moving in fixed orbit. And the plants and the trees prostrate to Him. And Allah has raised the sky and set the scales. You should not transgress in the scale. And establish the weight with justice. And do not reduce the weight. And He placed the earth for creation. Therein are fruits and date coverings, grain and husk and fragrant flowers. So, O mankind and jinn, which of the favors of your Lord will you be like? You all understood that. You all know that this Quran is waiting for you. In the last 2 days, we've buried 2 very close people. One of them was very fortunate. He went on Umrah, he came back, he started to read the Quran, he started to read his namaz, and only 52. And somebody rang him and he said, "Main namaz padh ke aapko wafus phone karta hu." And while he was preparing for namaz, he had a stroke and he died. Kitna khush kismat bana hai. And then you have the others, jo duniya ki masti mein lage hue hain. They're going to die as well. Agar Quran na padha to kya kiya sabhi. And when you get to your dark and lonely grave, and you're asked about this amazing book that changed the lives of billions of people, what answer are you going to give? Ya Allah, I didn't have time to read your book. So think about that. We've got Qurans outside, usually they're £15, but we've reduced them. We've got them cheaper and we're putting in some hisab ourselves. So £10 each. Usually this is £10. I beg you, do take a copy home, read it yourself. Give it to children. क्या ही बात मदीने की हो प्यारे इस्लाम में कि हम भी रोज सुबह कुरान पढ़े, हमारे बच्चे कम से कम 1 रुकू 5 minutes it takes. English translation पढ़ के स्कूल जाए, बच्चे भी protected रहेंगे, हम भी protected रहेंगे. अल्लाह ताला हम सबको आशिक कुरान बनाए. आमीन.